Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're back in the cave with our man from Wembley, Vin, who just came back from a holiday in Turkey. How are you, mate?
Very good, my friend. Just recovering from that holiday. Bit of a sore throat, but getting back into the daily grind.
Nice,
so it should be fun.
Nice. Good, good. And from Amsterdam, and a massive welcome to the cave, Mike, a long live Ajax fan, who's going to give us an insight into our new manager, eriktenhag, and maybe a little touch on Frankie de Jong if we can manage to get him over the line. How are you, buddy? Good?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you for having me in the cave, guys. Good to be here.
That's good, mate. Enjoy your time in the cave.
It's good having you.
And have some fun. I'm gonna turn it over to Vim because he's that pumped for this pod. I'm gonna let him go for his life and have a little bit of fun with it.
Yeah. Well, Mike, we're just going to continue with our conversations that we had in that beautiful country while we were over there. So, I mean, you are a lifelong Ajax fan. You've been supporting the club since what, day zero? Almost.
For me, almost day zero. So it's the beginning of the 80s.
Beginning of the 80s, right? And obviously, you're next to the Ajax Stadium. You go there with your sons on a regular basis. You know everything about the club, and our new incumbent, Mr. Eriktenhag, if I pronounced it correctly.
Yes, sort of. Good enough.
So, all Man United fans around the world, they're just so intrigued as to what this guy can bring because, we've had a couple of managers who have been underwhelming. They've not had the support from the club. They've underperformed. And, for a club like Manchester United, we've got incredible stature and we've not lived up to our name. So we're hoping Mr. Ten Hag will help us restore, that balance of power at the top with Liverpool and City. What do you think? Do you think he's a man who could do this?
I think he's the man that can do this. If he gets the time from the fans and the British press, I'm confident that he's capable of building a team that can compete with Man City and Liverpool. Definitely.
You guys had the pleasure of having him for, was it 5 seasons? And prior to that, I believe
three to four seasons.
3 to 4.
Indeed. 3 to 4 seasons only.
Well, there were 4 full seasons though, right?
No, he came in the middle of a season, so I think it's 3.5.
3.5.
3.5. Yeah.
And so prior to him joining, I don't know who the previous manager was. What changed? What did you notice?
It was Peter Bos, who is now a coach at Olympique Lyon.
Okay.
So, we were happy with him. He performed well. He's a bit of a strange guy, so we in Amsterdam had to get used to him because he has his own ways of working, his own ways of communicating. He doesn't have a history as a great football player. He was a medium player. He did okay, but he doesn't have a long track record in that sense. But our former technical director, Mr. Mark Overmars, knew him from back in the days, and he was confident of his skills. So he gave him the opportunity, and he proved himself worthy.
So Mr. Overmars brought him to the club. It was his recommendation.
Indeed. Yeah.
Did Van der Sar have much of a say on that, or did he not know of him?
Well, he's the general director, so yes, he had a say in it. But it was Overmars who convinced everybody within the club.
Okay,
so,
that's good.
They had a very strong relationship.
We'll talk about Mr. Van der Sar actually later on. When we talked about some interesting stuff about him in Turkey, so we'll touch upon that later. So let's get into it. Ajax style of play. What is it? What has it been? What is it under Mr. Ten Hag, and what can we expect to see? Will he bring that style of play to us? Do we have the right team?
It doesn't matter who the coach is. Ajax style is always playing from ball possession. With the ball, dominant football, attacking football. So every coach we get, they have to follow that style. Of course, they can bring their own touch to it, but the general idea is we play offensive football. So even when Ten Hag came, he had to play offensive football because otherwise you will not survive in Amsterdam as a coach.
Yeah. And because I remember you mentioned as well that it's effectively what Pep implements, that possession-based football. They don't want you to have that ball Cruyff style.
No, exactly.
No?
You can relate it all the way back to Johan Cruyff, who they played in the 70s, and then he brought it to Barcelona. where he taught it to Pep Guardiola. And Guardiola took it to Barcelona when he was the coach there, and then he brought it to Bayern München. And then the interesting part is that while he was coaching Bayern München, Eriktenhag was the coach of the second team of Bayern München.
Was that the reserves?
Yeah, the reserves, indeed, the second team.
Yeah, and so that's where they met.
That's where they met. So besides the fact that Erik ten Hag is a Dutch guy and all Dutch people are influenced by Johan Cruyff, he was also influenced by Guardiola because he worked with him at Bayern München. So when he came to Amsterdam, he basically adopted the Guardiola style, which is Cruyff 2.0. So you get a mixture of the Dutch culture compared to the new philosophy of Guardiola.
And do you think that 2.0 version is actually better than what Cruyff implemented? Has Guardiola refined it? Has it made it better?
It is more sustainable to modern day football. Football nowadays has gotten much more physical. So the Cruyff style is many ball possession, but not so much pressure. And with football getting more physical nowadays, you need a different style of play in order to be able to withstand, to be able to play matches against teams from Mourinho and coaches like that. Otherwise, you can't beat them.
Well, that's
Yes.
That's one thing United do lack in the midfield. A bit of strength, and when McTominay's in the middle there, he does get a bit tough there, but we really struggle to bring the ball out. So it'll be very interesting to see how he works with those three players like Bruno, Fred, McTominay, and if we sign De Jong, but he's not real physical, is he? He's just more of a player that brings out the ball from that sixth position.
That's true, but if you look at the style of play from Guardiola, and I think Ten Hag is similar to that, they only need one physical guy who doesn't need to be the best footballer, but he needs to break up the other attacks and then hand over the ball to somebody who can play football. If you look at it in Manchester City, it's somebody like Fernandinho, I believe it was there.
Or Rodri.
Rodri, yeah, as well, indeed. In Ajax, it has been Alvarez. And I don't know who he will use for that in Manchester City. I guess McTominay is very capable of playing that role.
Do you think Fred could do that?
And Fred as well, yes. Plus, he has the advantage that he's also Brazilian, so all Brazilians can play some football. So, yeah, Fred and McTominay are usual suspects for that position.
We giggled a little bit because we giggled a little bit when you mentioned Fred is Brazilian, because we felt he only became Brazilian when he was under Ralph Rangnick.
Yeah, he should get the space to show that where he's from. But I think he can. He's capable. He can do it. He should be able to do it if he has the right players next to him, like Frenkie de Jong.
Yeah. So we need one strong CDM. That could be Fred, or that could be someone new that we buy in. And you need someone who's going to pick up that ball from that CDM, like Frenkie de Jong, who can control the ball under pressure and distribute and get the attack started.
Yes,
so
exactly.
And we don't have a player like Frenkie de Jong in our team. I guess Paul Pogba did some of that. Maybe Bruno Fernandes did some of that, although his possession was pretty bad. So I mean, do you think it's important that we get someone like De Jong in this team for it to work?
If you want to play on ball position, it means your attack starts from the defense. That means that you need to have somebody either in the defense or defending midfielder or starting from that position who can start the attack. The attack should not start from the midfield or from the attack. It should start way before that. A defender who can build up an attack, start an attack, as well as a midfielder who can start the attack from your own half. That's very important. It's actually crucial.
Okay.
So that's why they're so keen on having Frenkie de Jong.
Yeah, but then we also need someone good in defense who can be that ball player. I mean, I know Varane could do it, although he's getting old. So we got Maguire. I don't know. The jury's out on him.
Maguire's got two left foot or two right foot.
Yeah, I don't know.
At the moment, I don't think
that's a
we've
really
got
good
the players
position.
that are capable of that. We do need a defender, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, you need another central defender. Although Varane is capable of doing it, he has the speed and he has the football capability, but he's been injured basically all the time.
Yeah.
Twice last
thing is,
season for us.
Yeah, his long 10 years at Real Madrid, I think, is taking his toll. You know, and we've got him at the latter end of his career.
But he's now 29, maybe, or I guess something like that. Or
He'd be close to it for sure. Varane.
Yeah, he can still be of a lot of value.
Yeah, 100%. But you probably need someone next to him. Look, the thing with Manchester United
younger.
He's younger, is he? So you know, the biggest thing there is Maguire's our captain. And
sorry. He is 29.
He is 29. Okay.
Yeah. Maguire's our captain, and I've just got this funny feeling that he's probably going to be our captain next year as well. So
really, you think so?
Look, I'm hoping I'm hoping Erik comes in and just lays the law down and does a full reshuffle, which I think most United fans are really hoping with that. Yeah.
I mean, what type of captain does he like to have? I know that Daley Blin, he kind of communicates his style and methods through him, and then he reinforces that message throughout the team. You need someone who's really understands Ten Hag's style of football, and someone who's got a good communicator, good leadership.
Somebody the leader, not only in the dressing room but also on the pitch. That is important. So I personally think that he will remove Maguire from that burden and choose somebody else. But
I hope so.
It will be. I'm not certain. Maybe Ronaldo.
Could do for one season. What about Ten Hag's style, methodology? What are the methods he employs? I've read a little bit about him, and I've got some sound bites from other interviews. But what have you noticed in terms of his methods?
He's really up into team building, so it's all about a team. He defends his team regardless. And he likes to keep everything within the dressing room and basically defending the players all the time. But what I also understand is that he can be really mean internally. So he will be quite direct to the team, but during an interview, he will never let them down. He will never say such things like Ragnik said that we need 6 or 7 more players. He will never go out say something like that. He will keep it internally, but he will say it internally.
Right, and that's what we've been missing, I think, for 10 years. We've not had a manager who is
a bit more of a Fergie type manager.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah,
he invokes fear in the players. He makes them committed to the project, but he won't out them publicly in the press conferences.
No, he'll just kick boots out their heads or throw buckets at them, or just give them a spray.
Or use a hairdryer.
Give them the hairdryer treatment.
Yeah. But what about his training methods, Mike? What have you noticed with him? Because I know that he does a lot of work on the field where he's basically got his main 11 attacking spaces. We mentioned in a previous show that he basically gets his 11 to perform drills against no one. So like when you've got the ball, you all attack as an 11 or a 10.
Shadow football.
Yeah. What other methods have you seen? Because I know he's very meticulous with his training methods.
He's very into standardizing everything. So he has a few plays. Basically, I compare it to American football. He has a few plays, and he likes to perfectionize those. So he has a few plays, how to play in ball possession, how to stand when we are defending, and everybody should know their position. So and that's what he keeps on practicing till perfection. And he's a real perfectionist. So he's never satisfied in that sense.
Yeah, which is what Guardiola and Klopp are. They're perfectionists. They demand.
Should be.
All good managers should be. Yeah, that's good.
That's one thing United has lacked, some style of play over the last few years. They just haven't got a style of play at the moment.
No, please continue. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say under Ranić there was a little bit, but then he had to change it up just to suit those players. What worries me when Ralph Rangnick did try and implement a style of play, a lot of the players didn't take it on board. And so, look, I think Erik's got a real tough battle on his hand coming into this club. And if he can get through the attitudes and the opinions of other players, I think we're a chance. I think it's really nervous times for United fans. We can see what he's done for Ayax and everything like that, but whether he can implement it with the current players that we've got. And I'm not trying to put a negative spin on this pod, that's for sure, because I want this guy managing our team. And if he's got that Fergie attitude, it's something that we've been missing for a long time. But like the current crop of players, the mentality sometimes just drives every fan crazy.
Yeah. I agree, and I think that the advantage Ten Hag has over Rangnick is that Rangnick came and he had to do with, because he knew he was interim, so he had to do with the players he had. Ten Hag came and he had discussions with the club saying, this is how I want to play, this is how I feel, this is the style I want to implement and what I want to work on. It will take me some time, and then now I think he starts talking to the players saying, okay, this is how I want to play. Are you up for it? Yes or no? I see a position for you there and there. Are you willing to commit? Yes or no? If you're not down, you're out.
Well, oh mate, you got me with that. Yeah. So he demands discipline in the change room.
He demands discipline, and he demands that everybody, whether you agree or not, this is how we're going to do it. And are you down with it or not? If you're not down, we don't need you in the team, because you will screw up the team process.
Yeah,
and that means you will be a bad influence.
Yeah, I mean, you've obviously watched Man United a few of the games you mentioned, and you've seen how they played. Do you see any problem players there? Do you think he will not be able to improve? And do you see any potential starlets that he could bring the best out of?
Actually, I see a lot of potential in Man United. Honestly speaking, the problem lies on the style you want to play. You had several managers since Ferguson left, and all of them tried to implement different styles and bought players for that particular style. While I prefer the Ajax style. We have our style, and whoever is the coach, he's a temporary there. Whatever happens, the club's identity stays the same. As with Manchester United, you were always players from your own youth and had a significant style, a recognizable style. And that's gone. So you need to get your identity back. And that's how you're going to play. And whoever will be the next coach, he has to be that same play. Instead of looking for a success coach who can bring success on the short term, you should look at a coach who can play the identity that Man United wants to represent. And with Ten Hag, I think you have somebody who has that same identity and wants to play in that same way.
Yeah, when our identity was, it's all about attacking football, and we kind of lost that along the way. We lost it with Jose, with very defensive style of football. LVG, fellow Dutchman who was playing very kind of negative football, I would say.
Indeed.
A lot of backwards and sideways passing, although possession based, but it was extremely boring. Moyes, I'm not sure what he implemented, but it wasn't good to watch. So I think Ten Hag is going to bring a style of football, and it's going to imprint on the club, because we've lost that style.
A lot of our current players too have played a lot out of position over the last few years as well. We've had Pogba had to play on the left. We've got some players playing out on the right. We just can't form. We've got Juan Mata, who's a central player, and he's playing out on the right hand side. So a lot of our players weren't even playing in position. So I totally get what you're saying. That you're not buying players for the position. You're just filling in positions instead of playing that certain style. You hit the nail on the head. Yeah.
It was also very experimental, wasn't it, with previous managers? They were trying players in different positions to see if it would work. And we just couldn't find that balance that would work. I felt I was watching experimental football with a lot of
because
coaches.
they were searching for the puzzle, the pieces of the puzzle to fit together. But
because they didn't really have that style of play.
No.
Yeah.
They didn't have that style of play that you're talking about. And I think that's one thing Manchester United supporters are excited about. I think you're right. I think I know I keep saying think because we've been so disappointed over the last few, after the first few years. We just want to be confident in saying, yes, he's going to come in and yes, he's going to, shape up every player. And, look, I'm fortunate enough in the next few weeks, we've got Manchester United coming to Australia. So I'll be firsthand, we'll get to see, even though they're only friendlies and stuff like that, but that he'll be making sure they're training hard and he'll be implementing his style into those games. So I'll be fortunate enough to get to go and see those games. So it'll be good.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
So in terms of player profiles, I know that it's a very high energy type of football, a lot of running, a lot of possession based, a lot of pressing. So I'm presuming the profile that's going to suit him is going to be a younger type of player. So do you therefore see a lot of our academy getting promoted pretty quickly? And you've probably seen a few of them like Medjbury and Garnacho, even James Garner, who did pretty well. Do you think there's going to be a lot of young players coming through to
he will definitely look.
energy?
He will definitely look within the own academy to see if there's players there who can fit. He can fit in. Most likely. So, and if they are good enough, he will put them on the pitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you think
I have
Ajax...
little insight in your academy, of course. So I don't know who.
Of course,
there.
no. But obviously Ajax has an excellent youth system, and I'm assuming that Ajax is promoting players from that youth system into that team when he can.
Every year we implement players, right? 1 or 2 players, if possible.
1 or 2 players per season.
Players per season. That's why we're okay with selling people, because that is how we do. We're not a huge club as Man United, even though we might have won more, but we're not as big worldwide as Man United. But so we accept the fact that we sell. If the players do well at our end a few years, we sell them and we move on. We get somebody from the academy.
Yeah, and there's talks of Anthony coming to United.
Yes, I hear them too, and it's quite serious because I believe his management is in England as we speak to negotiate with representatives from United. So he's really keen on having him, and he can be a real asset.
And is that he's an amazing player? I mean,
he's
the quality of the ball, amazing.
But at the same time, I'm concerned for Man United because that's what does that mean for Jadon Sancho?
I think they're looking to bolster 2 positions either side. So you've got Jadon Sancho, Anthony on either wing, and then you've got secondary positions supporting them. Maybe with Rashford, I don't know what's going to happen with Martial. Ahmad might come back into the team. I don't really know. I mean, we spent 39 million on that guy.
Yeah,
he's an exciting player, albeit a small dude. But there's a lot of talent that we're buying and we're not utilizing. And
exactly.
I want to see Van de Beek back as well, partnering Van de Beek.
Yeah, together with Bruno Fernandes.
And De Jong, is that trio going to work, do you think?
Yes, I think so. But you need to have somebody like McTominay and Fred as well. Otherwise, the midfield is too physically not up to it. Yeah, it's too weak. Yeah. Definitely. But
what's the preferred formation of Ten Hag? Is it 3-5-2? Or is it 4-3-3?
No, I think it's 4-3-3, but the midfielders, he likes to have the midfielders rotating. So in Ajax side, we used to have 3 midfielders, 2 defensive one and 1 attacking one, or 2 attacking one and 1 defensive one in a triangle. But they can switch positions. So if you have Van de Beek next to Frenkie de Jong, for example, and Bruno Fernandes as a number 10 in front of them, sometimes when de Jong makes his rushes, Bruno Fernandes should fall back a little bit and take over his position. So they can rotate and make the defenders crazy and play between the lines. Yeah, and that is what Van de Beek is very good at.
And where does Van de Beek fit into all this then? What does he do? What's his role?
He's a walker. So in terms of chess, he's the walking player all the time. He can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he's not so good with the ball, but his qualities lies more without the ball. He's always there where the space is. So you can always use him to set up a 1-2 or start an attack. But you need to know that he will always walk into the space. He will never be defended. And that is, well, quite difficult to use at his best, especially if you're not used to that kind of play.
I always noticed that with him, actually. He was always running into space, but he was never getting the ball.
No, and then it looks like he's just running and running and not doing anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, really a lot of us spoke about that. And people always, like Manchester United fans, always spoke about him not doing much in the game. And yeah, it's something for United fans to try and understand as well. When if Donny is starting for us, and a lot of Manchester United fans want him to start, I want to try and understand how Ayax or eriktenhag used his striker, because I did read that he used to play a false 9, and then this year he actually played with a target. This year, the player to hold the ball up, and would that work with Ronaldo or whoever our forward is? Whoever's going to be our centre forward.
Anything can work with Ronaldo, so I don't think that's an issue. That's the easy part. I think the difficult part is to not get so many goals against as you did this year. So stronger defense and a much more secure midfield.
Definitely.
I think the attack, Ronaldo will make the goal. So that is not the issue. So reinforcement on the defense and midfielders. Plus, don't forget the wing backs, which are quite important in the system as well, because in ball possession, they act like attacking midfielders, and they have to cover the whole field.
With Bruno, so we always talk about Bruno turning over the ball a lot, and doing that no look pass or just even though he had a lot of assists this year, but he's still got that. Whenever he does play it through boards, either too long or he always tries that risky pass that gets blocked or something like that. Is that something eriktenhag doesn't like in his game, out of his team, or out of his individual player? Or
not necessarily, because we had Ziyech, who's now at Chelsea, and he basically did the same thing. He kept on passing, putting a lot of risk into his game. And that's okay, because in the end, if you make 10 passes and 4 of them are great, you get 4 goals. So you accept the fact that you lose some as well. But that does mean that you have to have a defending midfielder next to him or behind him who can clean up the mess if the ball doesn't reach the target.
Brilliant. Man, I'm loving this. I mightn't be saying much here, but I tell you what, I'm taking it all in. It's brilliant. I'm so glad.
It's the insight, isn't it? It's the insight. Because we don't know a lot about Mr. Ten Hag. Mike, you've been watching this guy, with a lot of
give us an insight in a little bit of his bad points. Like, because I know I have seen something on maybe he struggles a little bit with substitutions and things like that. And so I'll let you take it away.
Stubborn. He's a quite stubborn guy. And in the beginning, he's from the part of the Netherlands where most people are known for their stubbornness. And he is no exception to that. And when he came to Ajax, he really wanted to do in a certain way, and he kind of fell into a tunnel vision. And at a certain moment, a few players within Ajax stood up against him and said, okay, we understand your idea. We understand where you're going to, and we see it. However, you need to be a little bit more flexible. And apparently that was quite a discussion. But in the end, he accepted it. And that's when it really started to pay off. That's when everything fell into place. But it took some adaptation from adjusting from his side as well. And I think he learned from that, and he will not make the same mistake at Man United.
Do you think it's important that his second in command, i.e. Steve McLaren, also helps him see that, look, you can't be so stubborn in your ways and you've got to adapt?
They have a long history, of course.
They do.
Steve McLaren was coach of Twente, who for some miraculous reason turned out and won championship here, became champions of the Netherlands some years ago. And at that moment, Eriktenhag was one of his assistants. So they have a long relationship, and now tables have turned. Of course, he knows he's going to England. He knows his English is rubbish. He knows he has to deal with the press. He knows he doesn't know the club Manchester United from the inside out. McLaren has all those things. So they have a good working relationship. So it's a perfect match. He knows the club. He's been there in the good times. He knows the British press. He knows the club. He knows what the dangers are. So I think it's a very good choice of him to get somebody.
I think it was a brilliant appointment because he is almost that missing link. He was Ferguson's number 2, and he's seen success at the club and what it takes. And you've got Erik-ten-Hag, who's a similar style of manager, who's going to be coming in, trying to imprint what Fergie did in his own way. And Steve McLaren is that gel that will fuse that together, I think. And he's a real people person as well.
Very much.
So maybe there's a good appointment.
So actually, unfortunately, Robin van Persie couldn't come, but
yes,
that's a shame.
I think Van Persie needs a little bit more experience as a coach, and then maybe he can join us later on. But it's nice to see that a lot of Dutch ex-footballers have a good close affinity with Manchester United. They've got a lot of loyalty. That brings me on to Mr. Van der Sar.
Yes.
Yes. What would you like to say about your CEO?
I wouldn't be surprised if sooner or later he would return to Manchester United as well. Yeah. He keeps saying that he loves Ajax and he's from the Netherlands and everything, and Ajax is his first club. But he also says that he doesn't see himself with Ajax for 10 more years or forever. He's not that kind of person. And then the only club he can go next to Ajax is Manchester United. So if the timing is right, then I'm sure he would fancy a position within Man United.
Yeah, but do you think that would be as a CEO or something else? Where do you think his real skills lie?
No, his skills are now commercial.
Commercial.
Yeah, that's what he's been doing in Ajax.
He won't be a goalkeeper
with
coach.
Woodward.
Sorry?
I said he won't be a goalkeeping coach.
Although he was brilliant, but he's because I know that you said that he's not really a media person. He's a bit media shy.
He's very
but
media
he has
shy.
but he has a good understanding of football, and he understands how to do the football operations side.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got Richard Arnold new in the post. So do you think there could be some synergy there if he doesn't get the CEO role? What do you think?
It could be, and I think he's a very good man for the club, but just don't put him in front of a camera, because he will not promote you as you would like to. He doesn't do that for Ajax as well. He's not that kind of person. Just put him in the background, but don't put any cameras on him, because he doesn't perform well then.
But what have been his key successes at Ajax? What has he done for your club? And we know Mr. Ten Hag has done wondrous things, but what has he done? And I know Mr. Overmars has been pretty influential.
Yeah, Overmars, Van der Sar, they have been a real team together. And they let Ten Hag do everything football-wise. And they did all the conversations with the board, especially Van der Sar. So he was like the missing link between the football part and the commercial part. Because we don't have that much money as Man United. So if Ten Hag or Overmars wants a player, it needs to be approved by the board. And that is where Van der Sar comes in. And he has the football background, so he can translate the necessity of a certain player into a board language, saying, okay, we need to spend that money on him. Plus, he's a worldwide figure commercial-wise. So wherever he goes, people know him.
Yeah. And so with Ten Hag, is it him that chooses the players that he wants, or does he have someone else that he lets do all the scouting and figure out what he needs? How much of an impact do you think he has on choosing the players that he needs, or was it Overmars, or was it someone else, or was
it was Overmars. It was
right.
very much.
So,
it was very much Overmars. It was Ten Hag who said, "Okay, I wanted to play in a certain style."
yeah.
And then it was Overmars who said, "Okay, how about this player? How about this player?" And together they were also very, very close.
Yeah. So the question is, Adam, who's going to be that Overmars person at the club now? Who's going to do that?
Because in your structure you don't have that, no?
No.
Well, Darren Fletcher's sort of the man that we're looking towards, I think, at the moment. Even though he's coming off he was on the bench a lot last year. I'm thinking he'll be sitting back a fair bit this year. So I'm guessing he's the one that's going to be working. He's the one that probably knows the players best. And being that he was probably a key player with us back in the day as well. So I think Darren Fletcher's probably one of the key men there.
Yeah, but has he got an eye for talent? That's the thing.
Well, that's his job as
the
technical director. He needs to have that eye for talent. So he doesn't have a choice. That's his job there, and he needs to start
learning it
and getting those deals.
And
he's not the man that's going to often get the deals, but.
And that's why I often wondered that Ralf Rangnick would have been good at that, because he has an eye for talent as well, doesn't he?
Yes,
but obviously he's no longer with us.
And he wants to play the same type of football that Den Haag plays. They have the same philosophy on that. So that is, it would have been a good duo. But I was surprised to hear that he left.
Very surprised, yeah. I don't know what caused it.
Austria, but yeah, me neither. Maybe it was the mess in the club. I don't know.
I don't know. A lot of stuff that goes on behind the doors that we just never know about, so we can only speculate.
Yeah. That's Manchester United.
Yes.
Well, Mike,
on a huge scale.
Yeah. Well, Mike, we've only got a couple of minutes to go. I want to thank you for coming on and giving us a real insight into eriktenhag, mate. I'm buzzing right now, and
pleasure was all mine.
Mate, it was fantastic listening to you, and I hope to get to Amsterdam one day, and I certainly will catch up, and I will go to an Ayax game, because whenever I watch the videos or watch a live game, the place is rocking, I tell you, and I want to get to one of those games for sure. So I want to thank you. I want to thank Vim. It's good to have you back on, mate, and I know you've been sick over the last week or so, and I hope your daughter's getting better too. And you guys, it's 1 o'clock until what time is it over there now? It's 3 coming up to 3
Amsterdam.
2:45. So it's coming up to 11 p.m. here, and once again we brought the world together, and it's fantastic. Well, we won't be able to meet you in the Champions League this year, so I can't say we'll meet you on the pop. Unless you get knocked out, we might see you in the Europa. So
yes, exactly. But we're not going for that.
No, you're not going. You're going to be doing well. So
I hope so.
Yeah. Thank you again, and remember, everybody, like, share, subscribe. It's great to get on the pod again, and great to be in the cave. And we'll catch you later. See you guys.
See ya.